to talk about internal migration in China related to the production of wine, the life cycles. Internal migration in China is about these rural workers that are in these years were migrating to the cities such as Guangdong, Shanghai, and Beijing that have uh, have gone to the cities in search for a job and higher salaries. What they do is they go to the city to work and they send back money to their families in their hometowns. And then here there is a map. We can see that a migration of people moving from the inlands of China towards the cities. And there's a massive migration. There's a graph indicating this. What I'm going to talk about the Hukou system is a system that registers the Chinese people into their home place where they were born, and that these rural migrants are being affected because as they come from the inlands, they don't have the government doesn't help them a lot with the social, with the healthcare, with lots of things in the cities because they don't receive those benefits because they weren't born there. So here we can see all the consequences of the whole system. This is a Chinese New Year's festival. This is the annual biggest migration for China, all the world, and this all of these rural workers that go back to their home places to see their families and to be with them. It's a period of about 40 days, and it is estimated almost 360 million people go back to their homeland. That's an image we can see of a train station flooded with people. Now, my colleague is going to talk about the iPhones.
Well, I'm going to talk about the life cycle of an iPhone, and I'm going to start from the manufacturing impact. And 77% of Apple's greenhouse emissions come from the manufacturing, and 17 come from the Apple being used because 100% of the Apple applications like Zero iCloud are run on renewable energy sources, meaning that they don't contaminate. So that's why the main contaminating from Apple comes from the manufacturing impact. The past iPhones contaminated a lot because they contain mercury and other elements like benzene and xen. And the mercury was the one that contaminated a lot because when they disarm like the iPhone for selling the gold that it contained, they throw the mercury into the river or the ocean, and it's contaminated a lot and lots of fish and ruin the biodiversity. The latest iPhones have now been removed. The mercury and the beryllium and the benzene and were one of the most contaminating materials. And now that it doesn't have a mercury, it's much better and contaminated is much less. And now something that Apple is doing that is very good is that they are turning their facilities into green facilities, meaning that now they are putting trees inside them and all the energy will be run on renewable energy sources. And this won't contaminate and will help a lot the planet.
I'm going to talk about the internal migration and iPhone production, what they have in common. Pegatron is a company that makes technology, and they have 90,000 employees approximately in China. They are the company. This is a company that makes the iPhone. The company, the employees have like very bad. They will have to work lots of hours. They have poor conditions, and they are not paid so much. These are like where they live and stay while they are working in Pegatron. And wait, okay. So people go to Beijing to find jobs like they industrialize, but they found out about the jobs and how they pay very poorly, and they have to work lots of hours. So they are unhappy or try to move back, the ones that can, because they have not poor money, and some can't. Then the pollution that is created because of the production of the iPhone also changes the migration, internal migration in China, because some people, mainly the rich people, can move because of like health issues, and also like um, air pollution is not nice to see, so maybe some people also move because of that. The mercury of the past iPhones also, when you eat the fish that is contaminated with the mercury, you can get like very serious illnesses such as cancer. And yes, so people move, the ones that can move from the sea. The sources that we used for our presentation.
Wait. So we're going to present how air migration affects the environment, and we have two main case studies, one about Delta and the other one about Emirates. I'm going to now present the case study in Dubai. It has a population of around 2.7 million people. It is one of the fastest growing cities in the whole world. It has a lot of disparities between class, because there's like a very high income people and there are like very low income people. Then we also have that it has a very low rate of crime, between 0 and 5%. Its population is based on about 50% Indians, 17% Emirates, and the rest of it are immigrants. And it has a pollution index of around 55%, because it may not have that much of a pollution, but as there's many dust, sandstorms, and windstorms, their pollution is like trapped and it is concentrated, so it is more as a result.
Dubai International Airport is one of the largest airports in the world, and it's located in the northeastern from the city of Dubai. It's the world's biggest airport by international passenger traffic. It's the third busiest airport in the world, 6th by cargo, and it's the busiest also for the Airbus A380 and Boeing 777. It handles over 83 million passengers per year, and it's spread over 3,000 hectares of land. And in the Middle East, it's the largest hub for airlines, and it's the main hub for Emirates Airlines. To show the amount of air traffic, this is a video of flights around the Middle East. These are the flight paths over the Middle East, especially Dubai and Doha, Qatar, which are two of the main hubs for airlines, especially Abu Dhabi, Doha, and Dubai, which have a large population and have many flights coming from there.
Now we're going to talk about Emirates. Emirates is the first choice airline in the United Arab Emirates, as it's a really good one. And it is a pretty new airline, as it is 32 years old, and its fleet age is of 6 years. And so these new airplanes have new technology and are fuel efficient, as they produce less noise and burn less fuel. We're going to show a video about this 777, which is a long distance airplane for Emirates. It produces less noise than older airplanes, and now we're going to show how it produces. Okay, the video is not showing, so the video was going to show the 777 landing and takeoff in Dubai International Airport. As I said before, it's an airplane that consumes less fuel than older ones and produces less noise and burns less fuel. Okay, the hub of Emirates is Dubai International Airport, and the Emirates, Dubai, as we said before, has a lot of immigrants, and a lot of these immigrants usually fly Emirates. And it has the airport of Dubai has around 500 operations per day, which most of them are from Emirates. And then, as I said before, these airplanes consume less fuel and are more efficient than the older ones, which have another airlines like Delta.
Now I'm going to talk about Atlanta. As we can see from the graph, Atlanta is located at the southeast of America in the state of Georgia. It has a population of around 450,000 people. It is considered one of America's most populated city, and it is also considered to be one of the most polluted cities. It has 21,000 tons of environmental waste, and cities combination of air pollution and atmospheric chemicals make it again one of the most polluted cities. It has a pollution index of around 54.
Now we're going to talk about Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. It's the international airport for Atlanta, and it's the hub for Delta Airlines. It's located in the southwest of Atlanta, and it's around 2 hours flight time from over 200 million people in all the United States. Today it's the biggest airport in the world, and it's been one of the busiest since 2012. It accommodates over 100 million passengers per year, around 265,000 daily, and 950,000 flights a year. It's also a major hub not only for Delta but Southeastern Airlines, or Southwestern, Delta Airlines, Southwest, Spirit, and Frontier, and it has over 207 international and domestic gates. This is a video to show how busy the Atlanta International Airport is. It accommodates not only flights from all over the United States, but also internationally.
Now we're going to talk about Delta. Delta is a pretty old airline. It is 92 years old and has a fleet of over 900 airplanes. As my colleague said before, its hub is located in Atlanta, and the fleet age of this airline is of 17 years. So this means that the airplanes are pretty old, which means that they burn more fuel than the ones that are flying now, and more noise is produced by them. We're going to show a video of an MD-80, which is an airplane that Delta uses regularly and daily, which burn a lot of fuel and produces a lot of noise. There the airplane is taking off, and as you may hear, it is producing a lot of noise, more than the airplanes that are newer. And if you can see, there's a lot of dust left behind, as these engines burn a lot of fuel and pollute a lot. These old airplanes helped the whole migration wave which also contributes to the pollution of the city as they are older planes. And then there are a lot of migrants that are flying in and out of United States. A lot of them fly Delta, and not all, but most of their flights are destined to go to Atlanta, as it is the hub. And with over 1,000 daily operations, there are a lot of fuel is burned and a lot of noise is produced.
How is low-cost air travel used as migration? Air travel is used as migration as they have a great capacity to move massive amount of people for long distances, and it has as they are low cost, they have a cheaper cost, so people who can afford the great price. Some examples are China Southern Airlines Dubai Beijing, that they are 3,600 miles, one stop round trip for $545, and AirAsia Manila Hong Kong 1,400 kilometers, non-stop round trip for $200. As some migrants can afford great prices because they don't have so much money, they are the low cost who can move from long distances without paying so much prices.
Then we're going to talk about the pollution, the average of what airplanes consume. So first, we're going to talk about the 747, which is one of the main long distance route airplane chosen by Delta. This airplane consumes 10,500 kilograms of fuel per hour. And then we have the Boeing 777, which is the long distance route airplane for Emirates. This one consumes about 8,000 kilograms of fuel per hour. And then these airplanes obviously burn CO2, carbon dioxide. The 747, the one of Delta, produces 90 kilograms per hour of CO2, and the 777, which is the one of Emirates, consumes 60 kilograms of CO2 per hour. And although the size difference as the Boeing 777 is much smaller, it and carries less people, it flies further and flies more efficient.
To show the difference the difference impact on the environment of both airplanes and cars, we have an example of a trip done in a Ford Focus and a Delta airplane.
Yes. Delta also has the 777, but it uses them much less as they have they don't have a lot of them. We chose a 14-hour flight, which is about 7,500 miles. The Boeing 777 carries about 300 passengers. So, and in the whole 14-hour trip, it consumes 100 gallons per passenger. So this means that if you multiply the 100 gallons times the 300, it will give us the overall fuel burned in the trip, which in this trip is 30,000 gallons of fuel in the whole trip.
And in the same trip done by a Ford Focus, it would also be 7,500 miles. But here, there would only be 2 passengers by car. And so in order to transport the same amount of passengers, we'd have to have 150 Ford Focuses, each one an average of 29.5 miles per gallon. And in order for that to happen, the Ford Focus would consume 254 gallons. That would be by 150 cars, 2 passengers each, and that would be a grand total of around 38,100 gallons, which clearly is more than one trip just by the Delta 777. And in conclusion, traveling by car over a long distance is a lot less environmentally friendly, and it's a lot greener to travel by airplane.
Other advantages is that traveling airplanes are faster than traveling by car, and that they doesn't have some barriers like mountains, river, and they doesn't have traffic such as car. Yes, there is a there is some weight in the airport, but it doesn't compare, and it is cheap and fast for transport of cargo and goods.
Thank you for watching these Sass talks about how migration has impacted on the environment. The Year 11 students that took part in it have been working long and hard on these presentations. We hope you enjoyed them.